situation, that it's okay, that I'm pretty banged up, but I'm going to be okay.
Right.
Well,
did that happen right away, or did that take some time? Like you said,
that happened right away.
Right away, even though you saw your entire family kind of sitting over,
I knew it was bad.
You immediately thought you changed your thought process.
My thought immediately in hospital was, "You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay."
Yeah.
It's because you don't think, like I was saying, this is not supposed to happen to me.
Right.
So I'm going to be okay.
But you knew you were alive, and you knew
I knew I was alive. I'm breathing. I'm looking down. I saw my whole body was there at the time, and so I just had a neck collar on. I just knew. I thought I was in shock, and I didn't know what the outcome. Actually, it was the accident was. No one gave me, the outcome.
They didn't tell you right away.
No one told me.
Did you try to move your body at all?
I tried to move as much as I possibly could.
What could you move? Could you move?
I couldn't move anything.
Really?
I was initially paralyzed from the neck down because of the neck break.
Right.
The swelling in the neck put pressure on the chord. Right. And so by doing that, it disrupted the central nervous system, which controls, the correlation between the mind, the brain, and the rest of the body. Right. And so because that was disrupted, I was quadriplegic for about the first 72 hours. Wow. Before I started feeling my fingers, and then I was starting to clench my fingers, and there was an absolute nerve pain in my hands, like a numb pain in my hands that started to return. Right. So then once I saw...
Is that like... I mean, obviously this is probably a bad example compared to what you went through, but is that like when your arm falls asleep and then starts waking up again? Kind of more intense?
Like needles, more intense.
Well, of course,
just like where it falls asleep like badly. So it was like that consistently for quite a few days, actually.
Was that a good feeling at that moment?
It was a good sign. Right. Because I thought, okay, I'm falling out of this shock, and things are starting to move, and I'm just, I need to relax and just be calm.
Man, I can't imagine.
And so sure enough, things are starting to return in my upper half. I'm starting to move my arms and stuff, and I'm signing off on papers, and I'm shaking people's hands when they come in to see me, and I say, "Oh, goodbye," and I'm shaking hands again and everything like that. But then the movement stopped at about my chest. Right. And so no one gave me the prognosis that I had taken a spinal cord injury at that time. Some family members found out in the hallway. So that's where I feel sorry for them, And I think, but I have a really good friend. His name's Jeremy, and he's just been such a good friend to me and my family. And I have a lot of amazing friends. I can talk a lot of them. But he was there with my family, and he was in the hallway when the doctor told my mom that that I was never going to walk again, that I had taken a spinal cord injury. So
what was her reaction? I mean, I just can't imagine receiving the news, first of all, about. I have a daughter now, also in Sault Ste. Marie. Yeah. But like, if I got that phone call, like and like you said, I mean, you're feeling for them. It's like, so you're just like, I don't want them to feel this way, and what they're feeling must have just been. I can't imagine. I
can't believe that, supposedly some people fell apart in the hallway.
I believe that.
I've heard the stories after. I didn't get to see that, because then everyone around me, it's now a game of showing that everyone's okay. Right. Because then when mom comes back in, she's all cleaned up, and she's not going to tell me. She wasn't ready to tell me yet. Right. But she stayed strong to not fall apart when she's now looking at me in the bed.
Jesus. So so everybody in the hallway is now. So whoever is kind of falling apart isn't allowed to come see you at this point. Yeah. It's just the people that gather their shit
and keep it together, because they didn't want me to.
So there's a secret that's being held.
There's a secret being held just to protect me from my emotions.
Absolutely.
To protect me from my own emotions, because it was. It's not something you want to hear. You want to hear, you want to hear all the good things. You want your family to tell you that you're going to be just fine. You're going to, this has happened to other people, and, they've gotten up and walked out of this situation, but you've broken a lot of bones. You need to relax and calm down, this and that. So those are the things I wanted to hear. Right. As much as they knew what the result was, they were telling me other things to keep my mind from me, being really hurt emotionally. Right. To get that news, So which helped me survive, because at that time I was in critical care. Right. Critical care is where not a lot of people make it, and supposedly from the night that the time that I spent in critical care, I was one of 2 or 3 of the only survivors that made it from critical care to the trauma unit. Wow. There were some other horrific accidents in there, and a lot of people don't make it out of critical care.
So is there a part of you that thinks that maybe if someone had said, "Hey, we're sorry to tell you, you're not going to walk again," that you might have just shut down and maybe,
absolutely,
really,
it's amazing what the brain does when you go through an experience, and what my brain's telling me every day, and waking up, and you know, time disappeared. I didn't know, I couldn't tell you the time because I was in and out of falling asleep and tired and medication and drugs. So I didn't know if it was night or day, but my mind was telling me, you're going to be okay. That you sleep your breaths and everything. And I do believe when you're given such devastating information that it absolutely, you know, if the body wants to, I survived the surgeries. The doctors told me after the fact that for as much, you know, damage and traumatic injuries and the catastrophic accident and everything, that majority of people don't survive these things.
Absolutely.
Like this is, you know, one in whatever, that for the damage that I took, they said that I was in really good shape to be able to survive it. Just to survive the surgery room. Once they start opening you up as well too, right? That it's, once you start opening the body up, that's more damage. That's more injury. They're cutting and this and that. So if the heart wants to survive, it's going to survive. You know, based on, you know, what the brain is doing as well too. So that's where when I woke up and I was given, you know, some encouraging information and getting through critical care, and then making it to the trauma unit, and then getting through the trauma unit, and then making my way over to Parkwood Hospital here in Parkwood Rehabilitation Hospital here in London. It saved my life. Because I also suffered with pneumonia while I was in critical care or trauma, and so I ended up getting pneumonia, and so things could have went very south if I had let my mind, you know, get the best of me. If I had given up, it could have been very easy to let go, and for the heart to no longer want to do what it wants to do and help the body and pump the blood and everything. And so it was, you know, it's just a big shock to the body. So it was devastating. It was absolutely devastating. But
I can't imagine, man. And you know, I'm so sorry you went through that. Especially, I mean, hearing this the first time, you usually think when it comes to motorcycle accidents, you know, okay, usually someone's at fault. A lot of the time, either the motorcycle's going too fast or whatever, but this is actually a car going the wrong way down a one-way street that fucked your life up, for lack of a better word. Forever. I can't imagine.
It was, and it's also a hit and run driver, so a person that they've, you know, that's...
Are you kidding me? So they just took off?
So they just took off.
Oh my God,
so it's no one to be found as of right now. You know, that's the situation. I'm not the first to ever experience something like this. So that's what that person's gonna live with. That person behind the wheel probably imagines that I died, because supposedly the sound of the crash was so loud, and then for the blood from the foot almost being torn off across the asphalt and just all the debris. They couldn't imagine anyone had survived, and according to paramedic statements as well too, they believe that the blunt force trauma was caused by potentially my body slapping up against the hydro pole. So that's what they believe, the blunt force in breaking all my ribs on the left side, which then put all that energy into my spine and breaking all those vertebrae in the spine and hitting a pole. So it was, it was something. It was life changing, and people say, you know, it happened in a handful of seconds. You know, and you all want to believe, everyone wants to believe that it's never going to happen to me. Well, I told myself that, and sure enough, I got on a motorcycle. I was wearing a helmet, just my motorcycle jacket, jeans, running shoes. I never wore riding boots that protect your feet from things like that happening, or gloves or anything. So that was the aftermath of not wearing all of the proper motorcycle gear that could have potentially saved my foot. And that it only took a handful of seconds. You know, it took a handful of seconds to be catastrophically injured, and now disabled as a result of that. So
well,
that's where,
in your defense, though, I mean, there's lots of men. We were both the same way. You and I had a lot in common, right? But we all want to think we're invincible. We all want to do these drive motorcycles, live in the fast lane, right? I mean, going back, just before you keep going with your story, going back, if you could go back in time, would you still get a motorcycle?
If I go back in time?
Yeah.
Well, the more we finish the story,
I'm just curious.
No, I wouldn't change anything.
Really?
I wouldn't change anything. Where I am in my life now as a paraplegic. I wouldn't change anything.
Okay. Well, let's move forward. So you can tell me
that
everyone
can understand that I can make that bold statement that I wouldn't change that incident in being a paraplegic with a spinal cord injury and sitting here for you in a wheelchair. So as we move forward, you'll understand why.
Okay. Well, let's continue that. I'm on the edge of my seat. Yeah. So keep going, buddy. Right now we're at the point where you're just finding out what happened. Yeah. And you've unfortunately, I can't even tell, but you've lost. You don't have a foot now,
so I lost half a leg. So this is a prosthetic leg. I have a socket here that fits what's called the stump. So they did so mid shin is where they amputated, and that's where they grab all the muscle and pull it all the way up. And then you have a distal end of your stump for the bones in your leg, and so the foot is totally gone. So this is just a prosthetic leg. So this one's my leg filler. I actually have a walking leg for walking therapies and robotic exoskeleton technology, and then I also have a pool leg as well too. That's waterproof. So I got 3 legs. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like my it's like having watches or purses.
You have accessories.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So yeah.
Well, I can see it now. So then what's the next step? Like, how did you, when you found out, like who delivered you the news that you were not going to be able to walk again?
So
was it a doctor?
It was a doctor. It was a young surgeon or a young a junior. Whatever they call them, intern or a resident, that broke the news, to tell me based on all his education. So he gives it to me very straight, you know, he gives it to me from textbook. And so, because that's all he knows.
Right.
And so he told me that I had taken a spinal cord injury. And so I didn't know what that was. I didn't know anything about spinal cord injuries.
Sure.
I've never even met a person. I don't have any friends. I didn't have any friends, nor did I ever meet someone who had a spinal cord injury. All we know of from spinal cord injury was like Christopher Reeves or Rick Hansen.
Right.
Those are the only people I could honestly think of when it came to spinal cord injury.
Sure.
And so he broke the news to me, and so I was like, well, like, can that heal or whatnot? And so he gave me that spinal cords don't heal.
Right.
You know, that it's the damage is done, basically, and that there's a 1% chance of regaining any feeling or movement in the legs.
Jesus. So what was your mindset at that point?
It was...
Did you start crying?
I went into denial.
Really?
I went into denial. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe a single word he said.
Right.
Because I had a different thing in my mind of what was going on. So my mind just went into denial immediately. And I had my mom there, I did have a little bit of an anxiety attack.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
I cried to mom, and I told her that I didn't want to be paraplegic. I didn't want to live life with a spinal cord injury.
Right.
I couldn't. And that I wasn't meant to be a paraplegic, and I'm not going to live a life with a spinal cord injury.
Sure.
So I had my breakdown with my mom, but I stayed in denial. I said that I'm going to get out of this, and my mom encouraged me too that I was going to get out of this, and kept my mind in a good place.
Yeah. Sounds like you got a good mom, man.
Oh, wonderful mom.
Absolutely.
She's a tough mom. Mom from a big family.
Was that conversation that you two had in that moment? Was that like? Would you say that's the most bonding experience that the two of you have ever shared?
Oh yeah, that's it's amazing. It's amazing how you try to get away from your parents, right? You start growing up, you want to live your own life, and you're like, I'm in charge of my own life, and mom and dad, or you go do your thing, and I'm now doing my thing, and then I'll call you when I call you, right? And I'll see you at Christmas.
Yeah.
And and so
true.
The first person you go to, right, is you want your mom.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely, man.
Yeah. So it.
I take your time, buddy. I know it's not easy to revisit these things.
It's not, well, it's amazing where the brain goes,
Yeah, absolutely.
It was nice to have my mom there.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she helped me a lot. And it's amazing. I'm 25 years old at the time, and you don't want your mom in your life to take care of you.
No, I know.
But then when you go through an accident like that, you want your mom to take care of you.
Yeah.
You only want your mom, so because she says the right things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my dad too. My dad came in and he always said the right things.
Yeah.
And even my uncle. My uncle was he was such a good man. He showed up all the way from Texas.
Yeah.
And he always had the right thing to say, you know.
Yeah.
And it made for those hard days, you know, those hard days where I was looking for something, and my uncle would say the right thing, or my dad would say the right thing, or I had my mom there.